All right, ladies and gents, so we're going to be reviewing the Spyderco Spydiechef today. Great knife. So let's get into the particulars here. So we've got an overall length of 7.78 inches. We have a blade length of 3.32 inches. We have a cutting edge of just a hair under that because of the ricasso. Blade material is the rust-proof LC200N that you can see there. Good to go. Absolutely rust-proof. Drop it in the salt flats, drop it in the ocean, let her sit for a week or two. Let it soak in there, and you're still not going to have any corrosion on any of the hardware, the blade, anything like that. That steel is good to go. As far as oxidization goes, way to go, Spyderco. Blade grind, flat, all the way to the top. Which means it's an angled grind all the way from the spine down to the blade edge, which makes it extremely slicey, which is awesome. It makes it a little bit harder to sharpen if you're running some sort of a clamping system like a Lansky. I'm sure there's workarounds as far as that goes, but I have heard through friends of mine that knives like this with the flat grind all the way to the top with no flat place to clamp down on can be a little bit difficult to sharpen with those sharpening systems. As I said, it's a flat grind all the way to the spine, and the blade thickness, which is really cool, is 0.11 inches, which is slicey, which kind of makes the knife do what it's supposed to do, which is cut. I love a knife that cuts. Kind of the whole purpose of having a knife. Anyway, the weight comes in at 3.78 ounces. So you're looking a little bit more than an ounce an inch, but it's coming in pretty close. So that 1-to-1 ratio is almost achieved here. And that's really good as far as I'm concerned. And it does come from the Spydiechef family. It does come from the Spydiechef family of knives within the Spyderco brand, which everybody has their own opinions on that, but I've always been a fan of Spydiechef. So, like I said, slicey. Good to go. This sucker can cut. It is an extremely good cutter. It glides right through anything that I've put before it. It's come from the Tai Chung factory. They are dialed in as far as sharpening goes. They've got their little sharpening elves that they get in on there, and it's pretty much all that they do, and they are very, very good at it. So what else do we have here? Let's do a size comparison so you got an idea of what we're dealing with here. So there we have our Benchmade bug out. As you can see, it is bigger than the bug out. So we'll move the bug out up here, and we'll see what we can do about reducing some of that glare. There we go. All right. So there we've got... Oh! Sorry about that, guys. So there we've got the Benchmade bug out up top there, obviously. What else can we do a size comparison with? There we have our PM2. PM2. So as you can see, the PM2 is slightly larger. Here we have the ZT 0562CF. It's kind of, the ZT is a little bit bigger. What else can we put in here? Oh yeah, let's the ever famous. There's the Rat 1 coming in there, so it's a little bit smaller than the Rat 1. Yeah, and that should be good for a size comparison there. Very similar blade stock thickness to the bug out. The bug out's a little bit smaller, coming in at 0.9, I believe that is, which is really slicey. But you got to appreciate the sliciness of the Spydiechef, and I do like the blade geometry. It's really, really good for cutting. Some people prefer a little bit of a flat along the belly up to, sorry, flat along the bottom, transitioning into the belly towards the tip. I gotta say, I can appreciate that blade geometry as well, but for its purposes, I gotta say, the blade geometry on this knife works very well for the purpose that it is meant to serve. It's light, slicey, good blade material, love the titanium. One of the things that I don't like about it is the blade stick. Or sorry, the lock stick, sorry. You hear that? Good action on it. But there is blade stick. Now, I've carried this a bunch of times. I've pulled it apart. I will be doing a disassembly video on this to kind of show you the ins and outs of pulling this sucker apart and getting it back together and doing some proper blade maintenance on it. But there's lock stick on it, which I'm not a fan of lock stick. I don't like it. It's not a deal breaker, but it's definitely one of those, I just paid $290 Canadian for this knife and it's got lock stick, because it's just straight titanium frame right into the tang of the blade there. There is no insert. There's no insert, titanium insert or replaceable insert whatsoever there. And the lockup is late. As you can see, it's pressing over pretty hard. See if we can get there you go. So it's beyond 50% on the lockup, and it's pressing in there pretty hard, as will be illustrated in the disassembly video. Blade centering, as you can see, is absolutely perfect. I've already pulled this apart, so I mean the action on it's really good. It just not bad at all. So that's really nice. It's got the Spydiechef wire clip. Not exactly the fanciest of all clips. It doesn't really strike me as an aesthetically beautiful clip, but let me tell you, as far as getting it in and out of the pocket goes, it is just Spydiechef, kudos. It might not be pretty, but wow, is it ever functional. Beautifully slides in and out of the clip, and the fact that it's rounded wire means that it actually, ergonomically speaking, it does a very good job. It doesn't, there's no really hot spots. There's not very much of a hot spot in the hand. Ergonomically speaking, it sits in there very, very nicely. The clip is a little bit of a hot spot, but it's not nearly as bad as one might expect. So ergonomically speaking, this knife is good to go. Steel, good to go. Handle, good to go. Got a bit of lock stick going on. I tried putting the Sharpie in there when I pulled it apart. It really hasn't helped much. I've worked it and worked it and worked it, and it still sticks. So I mean, that's a bit of a drawback. I'm not a huge fan of that for the money that they're charging. And as far as the money they're charging, let's get into that. So you're looking at about $235 American. I paid $290 Canadian for this. So you're running in around, between 200 and 230 to, it's about 235 American, and just south of 300 Canadian for purchasing this thing. So I mean, it's not a cheap knife, but you are getting what you pay for. It is a good knife, which is kind of my overall conclusion. It's a very good knife. I like it. I carry it a lot. It finds its way into my pocket quite a bit. I use it in the kitchen. I've used it for many different applications, and it is held up really well to all of them. So, I mean, if you're sitting on the fence about getting this knife, as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the better knives that's produced by Spydiechef. I even kind of prefer it. I know I'm probably going to catch heat for this, but I even kind of prefer it to the PM2. There is a bit of a lack of jimping up here, which, could help as far as purchase on the knife goes. It could stand to use a little bit of jimping there. and there's no thumb ramp like the PM2 has, but it sits in the hand really nicely, and it's very comfortable ergonomically. So my overall impression, great knife, great knife. My favorite so far of all the Spydercos that I've handled. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the Spydiechef. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and have a great day.